Hi, my name is Ryan Belden. I'm going to talk about athletes and political and social changes in today's society. I think in today's society, uh, athletes have more power and influence than they did, let's say, 10 years ago to influence a group of people and their views on a certain political or social controversy. I think a lot of athletes don't speak out about their political views because they're afraid of losing an endorsement or being frowned upon or being criticized by the media. But nowadays, athletes have so much power and influence over a certain group of people that they're not afraid anymore. And you see more and more athletes coming out and supporting what they stand for. And I think that's great for the game of sports because people people like that kind of stuff. And that's all I got. So, see ya.
One question.
All right, Blake, what do you think about athletes and mental health?
As far as like concussions, from my experience with football, nowadays people are more educated on it, so it's like their choice if they want to go forward with playing in the sport. So yeah.
Do you think there's more processes and steps involved to counter these types of injuries?
Yeah. Now that there's more information and we have more research on the subject, there are different steps and procedures that athletes take, and with the doctors and trainers to avoid concussions.
What's your take on athletes and racism nowadays?
Athletes and racism.
Do you think it's more prominent in today's society or 10
Yeah,
years
I think
ago?
you know a lot of professional athletes these days, not only just they have a political speech, political statement that they use in sports. They're not only just athletes, but they're also public figures, and they use political uh, values to showcase that.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Blake. Blake Martin's a USD football player, running back. Um, Great guy. Say bye, Blake.
Thank you. Bye.
How has athletics been a catalyst for both of your personal development and social change?
Well, I know that being on a team, I've had a lot of social experiences that I probably wouldn't have if I wasn't part of this program. It's definitely helped me make friends and form relationships, and being part of a team has just been one of the best parts of my life.
For me, it's helped me become a team player. You're working with people who you always have something in common with, and it helps you become a leader. You have to decide what you want to do on and off the tennis court, so that's fun.
Thank you.
So I believe sports are a catalyst for personal growth for many reasons. One of the most prevalent reasons to me would be that they show you how to deal with adversity. I think that's the most important lesson that I've learned, and I think it's the most evident when you look at athletes versus people that haven't maybe participated in sports before. Um, just for example, whether it's getting that starting spot or that sudden injury that comes and happens to you when you weren't expecting it. You don't feel like you deserve that necessarily, but stuff happens. And knowing how to deal with that is very important when you get into life, and sports makes that a little bit easier on you because it's on a much smaller scale. Not saying that it doesn't hurt as much, it definitely will, but it'll prepare you with the necessary tools to perhaps deal with it when it becomes maybe a job layoff instead of that starting spot you didn't feel like you deserved, or again, that injury that ends your season, something that you don't necessarily believe you deserve, but again, stuff happens. So as far as social change, I believe that it provides a platform to individuals that they can directly affect social change. Some people might say that sports directly affect it, but I think more often the case is that individuals in the sport themselves gain that platform that they can then reach out and affect people's lives and affect communities around them. A perfect example is Jim Brown and Ray Lewis, well-known individuals throughout the football community, and they were able to schedule a meeting with our new president to discuss inner cities and African American programs to help out the youth and to reach into the lives of maybe some undeveloped areas in the United States and provide them with better opportunities. Those two individuals would not have had that type of reach had they not have participated in the NFL and gained that prestige, if you want to call it. A smaller level, because obviously sports doesn't just stop at the NFL or the top levels of each category, MLB, NBA, etc. Another example would be myself. I volunteer at the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, which is it's a national camp that they hold at UCLA, where students that play sports, you don't even have to play a sport, but you come together through sports, and you help high schoolers, middle schoolers all come together and learn about, in this consideration, it's faith. But the sports itself unify both the coaches, the huddle leaders, which is what I did, and the students. In my group, I had 3 kids that had been in gangs, and they were no older than 15. Sports served as a purpose for us to connect on the same level, and I was able to work my way into their lives and be able to connect with them on a certain level that probably I would not have been able to had we not shared our love for sports together. So as far as social change, I believe that participating in sports gives you a platform that some people can't gain, and it's a special one, and if used properly, it can give a positive effect on your community and everybody else around you.
My name is Jessica Schaefer, and I've been dancing for 19 years. I'm currently on the San Diego State dance team. Being a dancer has taught me time management, organization, and discipline. I am one of the senior captains, and I've learned to teach and motivate my team. Dance has changed my life and has shaped who I am today. It has not only taught me to be a better dancer, but has taught me to be a better person, student, leader, and teacher.
I believe that athletics is a place where people can develop personally as well as be a part of a team that pushes for social change. Last semester, I was punched in the face by a drunk teammate. Since I was on an all-men's team, this situation is not taken lightly. While I was more casual about talking about the situation, I could see how it not only upset my teammates, but athletes from other teams. This situation brought to light the fact that assault is an inexcusable action and needs consequences. The athletic department took the harshest stance in terms of punishment. I was forced to take a step back and understand that being drunk is not an excuse to get aggressive towards anyone, and I know I wouldn't have been able to fully understand that without the help of my teammates and athletic staff. I know that other teams around the country have suspended their athletes for not upholding the standards, such as using misogynistic terms, racial slurs, domestic violence, and many other things. But it wasn't until I experienced something that falls under suspension-worthy behavior did I understand how serious athletics considers the behavior of their athletes. This was a wake-up call to not only my own team, but others, that not acting in accordance to the rules will result in serious consequences, even if the action is not happening on the field. There's no more sweeping things under the rug like there was in the past. I am proud to be part of a team and community that is working to be better athletes as well as better people.
So yeah, I think everyone in my group pretty much said it. When we have to consider how sports, athletics, or your dance team, or any real close group that the public views in a certain light, we have to consider them and how they are catalysts for social change. I think that automatically leads into how it affects our personal growth. Those experiences that we encounter through these programs, I think they're extraordinary, and the ordinary person, if they were not to be a part of any sort of group like these, I don't think they would be presented with these opportunities. Like when you're on a team, it's kind of like a little bit easier because you have these things set up for you by the program, like these community service events or like for the NBA, NBA cares and stuff like that. So you have these experiences that are presented to you to take advantage of, and so I think that's why it's a catalyst for your for social change. In one of the articles, when I was going through the gallery of the biggest like impacts that athletes had made in the last 20 years, one of them was with Sean Green, and one thing he had said, because I ended up going and reading another article that was related to him not playing on Yom Kippur because he's Jewish. One thing he said that stood out to me, and it also is like related to what um, Ryan was saying about like the celebrity athletes. They have this power, and it's like the people are gonna listen. You have these people who support you and they follow you, and basically what you say, they're just waiting to hear it. And so they have this power. And Sean Green was saying, it's not. It was more about him being a role model in sports to other Jewish kids. So like realizing that your actions aren't just like, oh, look at me. It's more about people who are looking at me are going to do what I'm doing, or they're going to be influenced by me. And so it's really bigger than yourself, and that like action in itself, and like just taking a stance politically, socially, about all these controversies going on in our communities, it it changes who you are personally. It builds on you, and it builds on your character, and you see how much bigger the situation is, like beyond you. Like we just had our paint game for basketball, and we're just trying to raise awareness. Like Kaepernick, Steph Curry was saying he probably wouldn't do it how he did it, but he was commending the act itself because it got the conversation going, and that's the most essential part: raising awareness, getting people to realize this is what's going on. I think once you could get that done, I think you're being effective, and you realize that it's bigger than you. And I totally agree with what Jack was saying about just having a whole different mentality about adversity and challenges, and welcoming them rather than shying away from them. I think athletics plays a huge role in that. So it's just up to you to use your voice, and as athletes, that's the responsibility that we have because we are privileged.